we have, so I often write LabVIEW test systems for embedded hardware. So the embedded hardware will often have state machines, hierarchical state machines as their definition, their specification. And so I can use those, or so for the software side it would probably be a UML state diagram for what they want me to do. And then on the hardware side it's normally a block diagram at the very top level, which shows the hardware blocks and then the interfaces between the different blocks, which actually sounds really simple, but with NI kit and another kit, there are often many different ways to do the same thing. So you could get loads of mixed I/O blocks, or you could have one dedicated, or you could have a total USB, or you could have a CDAC or something. So that architectural block diagram can actually change an awful lot. But once you've got those two, that actually well defines the scope, particularly in terms of hardware. You can see clearly then what's outside because it's not in that diagram.
Yeah, I guess that's one of where I was coming to really, because I think what this is all about is defining the scope so that when that question comes up as to, can you just do this, just do that, you're like, well, actually, this is the scope that we agreed. But it's how you make that. You can't do it black and white, there's no way. It's grey, it's always grey. But it's having something you can at least use as a point of reference in that conversation so that you have a professional conversation rather than it kind of becoming a battle about who's going to pay for what and I'm not doing this, not doing that.
So in the embedded world, it might help you a bit more. We work along the lines of a company called VBAS who do embedded C, C++ training, and they are very good with use cases, use case scenarios to develop your requirements.
So user stories.
User stories, you get your user story from various different perspectives, and then you get your use cases and find your requirements. And actually, it seems really kind of abstract and out there, but it does depend if there are lots of different users, lots of different use cases, but you can get a very tight specification from that because the customer has to talk through all these different scenarios.
And that's probably a good point to reflect on actually, is that the responsibility is almost on the customer to come up with those, or jointly on.
Yeah, and it helps in the testing as well. So the customer has to then put themselves where you are, and then where each of their interactors are.
So if they come up with a story that's not in scope, you've got a pretty easy conversation.
And then you can have that conversation when answer, can you put this here? You can say, well, which of the use cases is that working to? So, because I found trying to nail down a scope on technical detail just doesn't work. Because frankly, when you're in the middle of it as well, they're going, well, this isn't going to work unless you put that button here. It's too late to go back. Well, the contract says. So I try and use that at a slightly higher level, and the use case. I've started using use case diagrams a little bit more lately, but having it's like you need to get a spectrum out of this. So that's the scope. Whatever I need to do to get a spectrum out of it is in scope. Whether that turns out to be an absolute pig or if it's as simple as a single VI, that's what we're aiming for.
Because I guess there's probably two different types of people in the room, maybe, whereby there's people who kind of run projects like James. You're obviously working on your own or working with one other, where you're managing the customer and then delivering the requirements. Whereas other people in the room may be working in a team where someone's giving you the requirements or someone's giving you the user stories. So how do you go about defining the scope? Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? How do you work with your people that give you requirements, or do you define requirements?
I think the good approach that we normally take is to have like a one-day workshop where we go in, see all the stakeholders all in one room, ask all the relevant questions in order to build a requirements doc. So we can gain a better idea of what we need to deliver when, and that could feed into a proposal which could define the scope as well. That's generally the better way I've seen it to match.
And does that effectively forms a document, does it, that you would then use as the scope for that?
It will be the proposal, so every kind of project we deliver would always relate back to the proposal.
Got it. Okay. So one thing around this is managing requirements. So when you do this, I think this is kind of ongoing. It can be an ongoing thing, I guess, because you're going to be getting requirements potentially all the time, or throughout the project anyway. but it's whether you agree that they're in or out of scope and managing that. And has anyone got any tools that you use for managing requirements? So I know there's the requirements gateway. Have anyone heard of that? Aware of it? Use it? No. Yeah. Put that onto one side. So anyone got any tools that they use for managing requirements? So Leah, what did you?
I've got a big template spreadsheet. And
Yeah.
I just say how we're going to test for it, when it was asked for. That's always helpful. If they say why haven't we put this in? It's I like sort of how important it is. It really depends who you're writing it for. And, it's for me it's internal documents.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk sort of more the sort of at certain level and working towards a certain thing.
Yeah. So how do you manage scope creep then in your environment? Where you're internally, it's effectively you supply to another part of the business, effectively.
Yeah.
Or is it not a problem?
Well, I haven't run into that many problems yet.
Yeah.
I suppose in the past, can you just add this stuff?
So if that question comes up, then do you put that into your document, your requirements document? So if someone says to you, can you just add this in?
Well, I just try and be direct and say, I could add that in. It might take me up to a week.
Yeah.
That will mean I won't be able to do this. Is that a trade-off?
Yeah. So bring it back to the original deliverable, and then sort of putting some time scales around it. Yeah. I think Excel is probably a pretty common tool for people use for requirements stuff.
We end up using, so we take all the UML use case stuff, and we end up having to write either a specification and then a software specification, which defines functionality a bit more. This is for more on the embedded side. But then the Excel tool is a design verification plan that we use, so that links every requirement to the test required, which I think is what Leah was saying, to prove that it's been done.
Yeah.
And that then, again, makes it easier to manage that additional requirements.
Yeah.
It won't be tested.
Yeah.
And you can show,
Yeah.
if you've changed something here, it's going to affect something right over here.
Mm.
So we've got all this to fill in, it's going to cost.
Yeah, because we used Excel for a couple of projects and just found it was very difficult to maintain. So you start off, you put, and maybe that's just what it is, you have to accept it. I think that's to a certain extent you do, but we just found that it was very, you'd start off, write your requirements out, you feel wicked, then your requirements, right, I'm going to go code it, and you're like, yeah, this one's changed. And you change the code and it doesn't now reflect what your requirements state. So do you put the effort in and go back to that requirement, type it up to say that it's changed now to this, or do you just say,
The way we tend to do it is with bookmarks. So each requirement in the spreadsheet will have a unique sort of number, and then with that hashtag bookmark, and then you go back to that. You can really easily find a bit that does that thing.
Yeah.
But I suppose it doesn't really answer the question about whether you go back and change the Excel, but at least if you're in the Excel document, you can go back to that and find it does that.
So it's then the fact that, so if you make your original bookmark to reflect the original requirement, you do your code and you think, just change the bookmark, and then at least you've got a reference. Okay, yeah. That's kind of the way that we started to go as well, is that we kind of put the requirement in the block diagram, and then hopefully so that acts as the requirement to whatever code you need to do, and then if that code changes, the document should get updated. But again, it's kind of it's a real, the person has to be in that zone to remember to do it. Maybe they're in a hurry because they need to get this shipped or whatever. So I think there's a whole piece around that, and whether there's value in it, I think there is, but it just seems quite a hell of a lot. I feel like,
If you can write your tests first, then when the requirements change, your tests fail.
I guess I was going to say, to put a different perspective on it, I work in a very loose way with these. So we come up with a proposal that's generally not very specific anyway. It's not technical details. It's use cases, functionality. Out of that, I'll put it into JIRA, which is effectively a software specification. You need to build this, you need to build that. As it goes through JIRA, I link software commits to that. There's unit tests in the commit that kind of feature that. There's no hard link to the unit test back to that. And when it's out of JIRA, if someone says when was this released, I can go and find the release version. And we do a system test at the end. But I work in a lot less formal way that I'm sure. I'm not working in aerospace or something more regulated than that, so I can do that. But I guess to put another spin on that. And so far, that's not been me. That's the thing. I have some traceability. I don't have ultimate traceability, but I've had enough so far.
So do people get the scope signed off or the design signed off? How do you go about getting that confirmed? So we obviously need a point at which we can say, right, the design is now locked, we're not going to change that. What's the gate for you guys doing that? How do you formally go about getting that signed off? Or is that not a concern? Or
after our one-day workshop, we typically draw up all the requirements, send that off to a client, and they formally sign off or come back with comments, and then we kind of just review it and back and forth. That seems to be done quite well.
And do you get a signature on that as well, or is it sign off to say verbally?
Like an email kind of saying this is all right, go ahead.
What I find with signatures is it really makes people think about it, and they will definitely read that document if they're going to sign it. So we do a design acceptance typically. If the smaller stuff, perhaps not, but for bigger stuff, we tend to try and get the design acceptance done where we sign it to say this is what we're committing to, and they sign it to say we agree that that's what we've asked for, and that works quite well.
So when you say design sign off there, sorry, are they signing off on the requirements?
Scope, I think.
Scope. Yeah.
So it's definition, not necessarily a requirement.
Not going to have
software.
matrix that talk in this way.
Exactly. It's more, we need a DAC card that does this rate on these channels, and we need these AO to do the X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So that's kind of like a functional thing. Functional sign-off.
So me as a PO, which makes people think even more.
Yeah. Any other input on that one with the sign-off, design sign-off?
We have like a 7-stage process. The first 2 stages are kind of about viability and listing requirements. So at the end of the second stage, we'll sign off a requirement stock, which might be quite detailed, and a spec doc will then be written. And as you go through the design, the spec gets typed and typed into sort of Tollgate 4, I think. You sign off the spec, at which point the whole design is frozen, and then you're into the manufacturing part, and you shouldn't be really making any changes to like that. So that's just how we try and but requirements get added up, and but at the end of the first signing off the requirements document, we put solid timings in place, which is a real it really makes people think they're going to make a change that's going to affect those times.
It has
to go through a kind of review to actually make a change to the spec.
So I think there's probably 2 levels to design. One is kind of system design, which is kind of what the customer wants to know is going to happen, and then there's software design as well that sort of comes after in the way that we work. We sign off on the customer requirements, and that's the functional spec, if you like, that defines what the tool's going to do, and then it's just a case of working out the design to how the software is going to work, what modules we're going to have, how we're going to interact, all that kind of stuff, and how we're going to save data, which we'll have been thinking about throughout the process of developing the functional stuff, but I think we document that less, definitely, at the moment. Document the software design less than we document the functional design. Do people think about tests in design phase? What do you do? Do you document them, or do you just develop them? I guess unit tests are easy. Not easy. You can develop a unit test, right? Just to fail.
Well, I would still only be developing them as I'm about to implement that code. I wouldn't do that from.
Would you define them at this stage?
No. I see unit tests very much more as a development tool. Although in some cases they are critical to a bit of functionality. And what I mean by that is it's harder to prove that every system testing is expensive, basically. It takes a long time to try and go through all the permutations. So unit tests become more expensive, where we're going to say, actually, that these permutations are well covered at the unit level. So that's less planned as much as what happens. I'll be thinking at this stage about how we're going to do system tests. I should define at this stage, I don't yet, honestly.
Yeah, so I think one thing is that I think is quite powerful is if you can define how you're going to validate the system, and that's definitely testing. So what's going to enable the customer to sign off on this? So how are you going to ensure that you've got a document or you've got something written down that says if the system does X, Y, Z, that's sign off for me, and you can sign that. We should be able to get that at the very start. We shouldn't be doing. I don't think we should be doing that halfway through at the end of development. That should be something that's upfront, defined, and clear. Because then at the end, you're not thinking about, oh, they're going to sign this off or not. You've got a clear remit of what you've got to do to get that signed off.
That comes back to those use cases as well. That's got to make it think through the use cases, which is going to bring up requirements.
Yeah.
And then you design a test to the use cases. It's a really nice way of thinking about things that I haven't ingrained enough yet, but I've played with it and it was really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't use it every day, but my embedded colleagues do. Certainly where that a lot of people don't understand what the software does or can do, so the use case is brilliant at making it understandable.
Anyone else on testing? How you go about testing stuff? Or defining what you're going to test? How are you going to test? Reviews. So people do design reviews? I don't think, I guess informally we probably do in developing the sign-off, the design, the functional design document. That's typically, you've got to send that across a few times to get that reviewed, but I don't think we have any formal sort of sit down for a day and do a design review. I don't know why that is. I think that's probably overkill.
We do. I'm conscious I'm talking a lot. In the whole system, we have a design review, and then that will break down to mechanical, software, electronic. In the software side, so again, embedded side, we'll probably go through, we'll do a mixture of code reviews and sort of functional block reviews. We try and go through the code at least once, but there can be a lot of code. On the lab view side, it's mainly just me, so and nobody else has got the same sort of knowledge. So I will normally go through what it does with one of the other C developers, and they can normally follow my thinking, but they don't actually know about the bits of the language, the blocks that we use.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do reviews at least once, fully.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than that.
Yeah. I think maybe we do them more than we think, but they're just so informal that you don't class it as a review. So if somebody asks a question about some functionality, naturally you start reviewing it anyway, because you've got to have a look at the code and how we've implemented it, and through that process you're reviewing it anyway. So technically it's a design review, because we're talking about how that function has been implemented. So I think, in our case it's very much informal. We don't have anything that strictly we stick to and periodically do.
If you need evidence of that, you can keep a design log, which is a good way of showing that you've addressed.
Okay.
It's kind of documenting your diligence,
Yeah.
which is good. I say in 9001 and other standards you might have to work to, that it covers a lot of that quite quickly.
Yeah.
I kind of do that for architectural level stuff, obviously on my own. It's harder, but I don't always do it probably. It's kind of a concept I saw and I like that, because the code doesn't show the architectural level stuff so well. So I do, like if I'm majorly changing an architectural component, I will sit down, and essentially what I'm doing is writing out my thoughts as I'm thinking them, and then I'll come to a conclusion and do that a little bit.
Yeah.
Although that's more at the implementation stage, and it's like, it would be like an initial architecture, and then if I was going to majorly change that, that's when I'd come back and think about doing that.
Yeah.
Just to structure my thoughts a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, ours is much more informal discussion. So we might be talking about modules just informally in the office, and actually that's reviewing someone's thoughts on how they're going to do something. And there's definitely a lot of value in it. I think it's really, it can feed back quite quickly. It's like that rubber duck, it's the rubber duck thing, isn't it? As soon as you start talking about it, you start thinking about loads of other stuff that are going to have effects of it, So the next topic was about risk. So do people do like risk assessments? And how much detail do you go into, and how do you share it with your stakeholders, and how do you manage? So when a risk does show its ugly head, how do you then address it? I think we don't formally document risk, I don't think. What we've decided to do that actually in proposals is to say that we've identified that this system that we're developing interacts with these other systems. So if there's problems with those other systems, then that's a risk. And we sort of just identify. Relatively informally, it's not like this is score one, red zone, start flashing. It's just sort of making them aware. So, and again, people typically with proposals just go straight down to the bottom and look at the cost, right? They don't really look at the content of it. So maybe there's something there that we can improve to sort of manage that a little bit better. But I think this one comes back to perhaps the management section rather than communication. I think it's really about making sure that is raised as soon as possible and having those conversations as soon as possible and sort of preempting it really.
It can impact so much. So I'll share a horror story from my thing, which has made me a lot more critical on this. So I do create a risk register. It's not hugely formal, or it has a structure. It's like, is this like to happen? What is it? Because what I really want to do is bring those forward in the project and try and tackle those first as the timeline allows. And then that's normally when I share them. I won't share the whole thing with the customer, but I'll share.
Just get your thoughts of the effectively
thing. Because like I had one where we were migrating to a different Flectrio family, and so that was an obvious risk. To be fair, I did some work up front that made me think it wasn't likely to be a risk. So instead we delayed that part of the project on the basis that we don't want to spend money on hardware until we know that there was a software component. If that failed, there was no point. But then in reality, that meant we pushed the hardware part to the end. The risk did rear its head and we ended up being several months late. Whereas if we'd have done that up front, we probably could have contained that risk a bit more or done something more with it. So that's where risk really comes in for me. I need to understand it enough to prioritize at the beginning of the project. And then with that customer, what we did basically was, again, different cases, we've actually split that risk out to a separate work item then. And we say, this is a risky item. Before we commit to the whole project, we need to do a small work package on this first to prove the risk or not.
That's a nice way of handling the commercial side of it, isn't it, I think, as well. So you can sort of say, right, we can spend a couple of days on that, and really sort of you can then quantify it, but at the end of that you'll have a much better understanding to enable you to fix price it if that's what they want, I guess. Yeah. Well, you guys, anything on risk, how you manage risk?
We use the FMEAs, so failure mode effect analysis, the design and the process. So it's a manufacturing company, you've got various different areas where risk can rear its head, but for me, on the design side, so DFMEA, and that does score your risks. So it's just it's like severity, frequency, and occurrence. So you multiply those scores together and you get a number which is like a risk index, if you like, and if it's above, you choose 90 or 100, you need to eliminate it or address it in the design. If you can't address it in the design, then you have to put a method in place that will check for that risk at assembly stage. So that's one of the tools that we use. It can be very difficult for electronics and software, but if you look at a functional block, then you can actually try and assess it through a DFMEA. They can be torturous to do. It's what the automotive industry require a lot of the time. But it really does make you think of every failure mode and the effect of it.
Cool. So I guess within that, then it's kind of identifying who's responsible for the risk as well, because potentially it could be a customer that's responsible for managing that risk as well. So I guess it's trying to communicate that in a way that is effective. And I put gaining respect on there because I think that the steps that you take to manage risk can give you quite a bit of respect. So if you manage to, if something comes up and then you raise it as soon as possible and you start having that discussion early as possible, and the customer effect doesn't see any effect of it until they really understand what that risk is, I think that gives you a lot of respect, and it really helps the relationship as well, because you've kind of admitted that this has come up, you're sort of exposing yourself a little bit, I guess, and I think we found that means that relationship is a lot easier to manage when you're discussing these kinds of things, because you've been open about it. I think that's kind of a bit of a curveballing type one, I guess, but it's kind of something that we found to be quite good in the way that we've handled it in two different ways, really. When we've sort of not raised it really early and sort of thought, yeah, we'll be able to manage this ourselves, don't need to sort of talk about it, we'll sort of work through it and resolve it. And then the flip side of that, where we've sort of raised it early and had that discussion, the sort of relationship goes slightly differently, I think. So how do people manage development? Because there's lots of ways of doing it. Do we break it down into chunks at the start? Can you identify modules that you need to develop? Or I think it comes back to the risk one. Like, I think you kind of need to pick those things that you know are risky. Like talking to hardware is always risky, so you want to try and sort of mitigate that as soon as possible, get that developed as soon as possible and tested. And then how do you track progress? So how do you know that you're going to fit in with your fixed price that you've quoted? So that's quite critical, right? You need to make sure that you don't go way over and then you're not profitable, or you don't deliver on time, and all those kinds of things. So anyone got any techniques for tracking progress? Ours is very informal, it's kind of verbal. It's just like, how are we getting on, where are we at? Sort of just, I think it's about doing that regularly, having that discussion regularly. But I think we haven't found anything that kind of is easy to use and gives us something really accurate. I think it's just kind of verbally managing it on a day-to-day basis, really. Yeah.
Something that we do for a certain type of project, like on certain Fridays, we just develop tools that are useful, like we put down on all the work. And for that, we have like our TFS over, and so say we're trying to develop a tool, we put in all the stories and features and stuff, and then we just got a board where you sort of, you say we're doing work, we're complete, and then you see like on all the different tools people are developing, what stage they're at.
Yeah.
And I think they even like link it back to certain commits and stuff, so that kind of, I don't know why it doesn't seem, well, I don't do it for my normal projects, I think some other people do, but that's a good way of sort of getting.
So you've effectively got like a description of a task, and you can put that in a different status depending on what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
For large projects, there's a tool called Redlight. I've never used it myself, but I've seen people use it, and it looks pretty good.
What's that? Red light?
Yeah, Redlight.
Redlight.
You start assigning people tasks, and they can track how long, how the progress or that task, so they can assign like 50% done. So the PM can look at that, have a high-level overview of what tasks are coming out, what tasks are still on the list, etc.
Yeah.
It's quite a good way of organising. I've never actually used it myself.
Yeah.
But
I used to use it, it's very good.
Yeah.
I use JIRA now for space and concepts.
Yeah.
So I have detail and I have vagueness. So in JIRA I actually track time basically I have a stopwatch. I pick up a task, start a stopwatch, stop it when I'm done. And you can put back estimated remaining time so it works out 50% done or whatever. So it gives me lots of detail. But at the high level, once a week I go, score every project at 5, where 5 is fantastic, and 1 is, SH1T, we're in trouble. And combination of those two seems to keep things on track.
And did you find it easy to get into the habit of updating that and feeding the data in?
The timing in JIRA?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just there all the time.
Yeah.
So that's I have LabVIEW and I have JIRA there. So for me, it's just completely ingrained. Moving things across as I do them. I think it helps, and I've never quite decided whether I'm doing it right or not. The tasks I put in JIRA are pretty fine-grained. So everything is less than a day, and mostly it's a couple of hours per task. So that kind of keeps that very close feedback with it and keeps me engaged with it. If I put stuff in, it was like 3 days. I could see it would be easy to forget to open it or put stuff in. Or
you lose track more easily then, don't you?
Yeah, that's. But it means I'm doing more work up front. But that's always worked really well for me.
Yeah, it's quite an easy sort of status, I guess. You can easily see where you're at.
Yeah, I mean technically I can go to any release then in JIRA and I can say this is the estimated hours left, this is how much I spent on it. What I lack right now is tying that nicely into an overall project schedule to then go, therefore I'm going to be delivering late or early or it's going to land in December or January. That bits.
So the communication to the customer about when you're going to be able to do.
What I found is I was trying to track everything in JIRA, and actually it's very good for the very detailed work, and it's not very good for the overview. So what I really want to end up doing is having a better tool for like the overview level, and then you can keep JIRA as a more detailed tool. But I haven't.
We're just trying to crack that because we use Microsoft Project for the standard project, and that's broken down to electronics, software, mechanical, testing, the process development, the tooling and all that. But then there are 25 projects running and the same people doing a bit of each. And so there is a tool that's above Microsoft Project. I forget what it's called, but it's part of the Microsoft Suite, which can totally sell it to Microsoft. So you can then feed all those project schedules into that one tool and level them. So although you can level the resource through projects, it's still going to give you a very good overview when something's finishing in one project that frees somebody up further on. But it's very much into PM territory that I think you need to have a degree in project to understand. Just about to start doing that.
We've kind of talked about that really, how we manage feeding in updates from the client. I think we've pretty much covered that, haven't we? I'm just trying to think of any examples that I can think of that.
Tech days and review meetings, isn't it?
Yeah.
And on the phone to an engineer.
It comes down to communication, isn't it? Continually using what Leah said in terms of defining it, in terms of what effect it will have on the overall project.
And getting things in front of them again, like Leah said, making those opportunities for good feedback. Not just we'll pick up the phone once a week and we'll go, hey, okay, great. Actually showing them stuff, and then I'm like, oh crap, no, that's not what I was thinking.
So I guess just touch on this last point here about continuous integration and testing, and how frequently are people testing stuff? So is it people have got continuous integration in place where that's all automated, or are people doing it quite manually at the moment, or what's people general hands how you testing the software?
We actually don't really do much lab development. So we should more it's mostly kind of design and development of hardware and tests that use various lab. Which is kind of out of the box anyway. So, but if it was something we test, like build a custom device or something, we test that separately. Have our own kind of whole cases that we test on just to verify validate.
So like system level test, you spin up a custom device on the hardware.
Don't really do anything special. We don't really have a process in place though. That's something that probably we need to look into and be more consistent on. Because I think at the moment it really depends on the project, kind of the person doing it, how we can test it. It really depends on the project.
I guess it depends on what type of testing you need to do as well, whether it's unit tests, obviously you can quite easily automate those. integration tests, regression tests, those kinds of things. You can maybe automate them depending on what your setup is in terms of simulating your hardware or what have you if there is hardware. But then there's obviously testing in front of the actual product is another thing that you can't obviously automate.
I think your campus done this, didn't he?
Yeah.
In LabVIEW.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a good CI route in the embedded world using Jenkins, which almost everyone uses Jenkins, does it?
Yeah.
But it uses unit tests, does some integration tests for physical hardware.
Yeah.
But in LabVIEW,
yeah, we're using Jenkins as well for our stuff, and we've got quite a neat process for testing now. And we've just started looking at virtual machines as well, so we've started using virtual machines to manage the environment.
Docker is the next. I think Docker is better than virtual machine. If you can use Docker, but I don't think I haven't seen it work that well with LabVIEW.
I disagree with LabVIEW because it doesn't have a UI.
Okay.
So,
I did try and sort of, I couldn't get my head around it. It seemed fine for the C stuff,
yeah.
you know, development environment. Yes, the VM is probably the best thing.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. Is everyone familiar with the concept of the testing triangle? We've kind of talked about the second terms. People kind of heard that term.
No.
It's a really cool way in terms of looking at these test plans. Is basically the idea is the top of the triangle is less tests but more valuable, but more expensive probably. And the bottom is less valuable but more often cheaper to run. So broadly, the way I'm normally seeing it is it's split into 3 levels. At the bottom you've got the unit test, which is testing very small pieces of logic. It's very quick to do. In the middle you've got your integration test, which is a really fuzzy line as to where that starts and ends. And at the top you've got your system test, which is, right, let's spin everything up together. And each of them are going to catch different problems. It's a really interesting way to think about it. That's kind of what we were referring to earlier. It's like, well, we can't really cover the system test, but we're pretty confident it's covered at unit test. Ideally, it would be covered at both, but it's kind of. And just because you're using a few tests now, that's intriguing to see. That's the way I always picture it. You know, you've got a good, should have, I don't always, good base of unit tests, some integration tests and some system tests to try and cover and catch most things. But I do a few manual system tests. I do a lot of unit testing, which is automated through Jenkins. Generally, it's broken again in a minute. I still work on the reliability of that. But they're semi-automated. I have to manually hit run, but it does all the hard work. So I do that before every commit, basically.
I think we found that unit tests are really valuable in the right place. I think you've got to be cautious about what you're applying it to, but I think it generally is quite easy to identify a piece of code that's unit testable, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have it there really, because it's a nice thing to fall back on when you make changes. So, we found that really valuable. Okay, I'm very aware that this is a bit of a boring subject that I'm covering and no LabVIEW whatsoever, so I think we'll probably draw the line there. But thank you everyone for your feedback and stuff. It's been great to sort of talk about this. Just to get a show of hands really, and don't feel like you're going to offend me if you don't put your hand up, but is this of interest to people? Do people find this subject interesting? Do they valuable as well, I guess? Yeah? Generally, nods and hands? Yeah? Cool. Alright. So I appreciate that everyone's doing it, right? And it's just whether we can try and take advantage of everybody's cock-ups.
I think if you find a tool and you share it, like there does seem to be a big space for requirements management tool that isn't whatever it's called, gateways or the standard one. Yeah,
there's something in there, definitely. Alright, awesome. Well, thanks very much for your input, and I may cover some of this elsewhere and maybe more informally at other meetings and stuff, but I really appreciate all of your input, so thank you very much. And that pretty much wraps it up, so I think we'll call it a day, and we're welcome to stick around here and have a chat if anyone's got any questions and stuff. We've got a day in February for the next meeting. It's going to hopefully be at the MTC over in Coventry. I've got we've got one presenter lined up, but there's a couple of slots still there, maybe a bit more LabVIEW next time. Looking forward to that, so hopefully we'll see you all there. And don't forget to sign up for GDevCon newsletters. Right. I know.
Thank you.